Warning: the love virus is highly contagious. Spread at your own risk.
Hi, loves. Welcome to the Love Virus podcast. I'm your host, Shantae Yvette. I may stumble over my words, but everything I share is straight from the heart and from my own personal experience. This space is for healing, evolving, and tapping deeper into who we really are. I may laugh, I may cry, but I am coming as I am because this is a safe space. Let's walk this journey together, flaws, feelings, and all. Let's dive in. Today, I want to talk about something that I've currently been going through because for those of you who don't know, I am currently dealing with having multiple sclerosis. But yet, my husband has kidney disease. So his kidneys have currently failed him and he has to be on dialysis. So we have been doing training for the last few weeks, training for his hemodialysis so he can do it at home and I can help him do it at home. So I have realized caregiving is truly a woman's issue. It has been programmed in our subconscious from generations to generations to be the sole caregiver of our families. And being that I have my own issues health wise that I have to manage during training with him, no fault of his own because he respects and understands the needs that I have to take care of myself. But yet, his nurses and all of them are putting the sole responsibility onto me as if I am the one currently with kidney failure. So as I am in this training and they have been pushing my boundaries, so to speak, they have constantly been telling me, look, he is not going to be able to stick himself with the needle. And I know that it's possible for him to do it himself. Why? Because I see people do it all the time. Some people don't have anybody around to help them. So therefore, they have to do it themselves. So I tell them, look, he is going to have to learn how to do it because, for one, I have my own health issues, which when I am stressed out, my hands do not cooperate as if like a normal person hands would cooperate. My hands become like it's pain in my hands when I get like I instantly feel it when I get stressed out instantly. Like and even during this training, I started to feel it because it is stressful to have to stick someone that I don't want to necessarily hurt, although I know that he needs it for his health. So I told them, look, these are my boundaries. I do not want to put myself in this situation to constantly have to do so. Not only that, it is not convenient for me to do so all the time. Sometimes he will have to do it. So, okay, as time goes by, every other day somebody mentions it. Always somebody different mentioning it, and then I have to constantly shut them down. So I started thinking to myself, why do they constantly do this? And then I thought about the time I was in the hospital a few years ago. Not one person told my husband anything that had to do with him taking care of me. Although he already was, this is what, before we got married, I was in the hospital and he was such a good, like he bathed me, like he helped me use the bathroom. Like he was very good at helping me. But nobody ever mentioned to him in the hospital, hey, make sure she does X, Y, and Z. If anything, they told him, make sure she don't do too much because as women, we tend to do too much. We don't let ourselves rest. We just, because why? We don't let ourselves rest. Why? Because we are so used to other people not doing things that we cannot sit here and just rest because why? It won't get done. So I asked my husband, do you remember them when I was in the hospital? Because I had a lung thoracotomy. I had to get 10% of my right lung removed. Do you remember them telling you to make sure? Excuse me, I just dropped something. But do you remember them telling you all these things that they are currently telling me in training to make sure you do and don't do, and make sure I inconvenience myself to make sure you get stuff done? And he said, no, I don't remember that. I said, yes, because this is always the society always depends on the woman to be the caretaker. Approximately 66% of family caregivers are women. Many balancing full-time jobs as well as caregiving responsibilities. And I'm not saying that they aren't, because obviously there are some men that do it, but 66% is over half of women being caregivers. So that goes to show me that these people have been programmed to expect us as women to keep constantly self-sacrificing our needs to help someone else. And I said, this is why I'm going to keep having my boundaries, because I'm not going to, and you should not have to self-sacrifice your need to help please anybody else. And what does it do when you keep constantly self-sacrificing? I have been self-sacrificing for years, and my nervous system is completely unregulated. Not now, well, not now, because I know how to regulate it now, but it has been completely unregulated for years because I have been always putting others' needs before my own. Mine's my needs could wait. I don't need to rest. I need to get this done. I need to make sure they are all right. And then when I sit here and thought about how I was making sure everybody else around me was all right, but not making sure myself was all right. And quite frankly, they themselves were not making sure they were all right. So why should I overstep what they are willing to do for themselves and just do it for them? Quite frankly, that's enabling. Now I am not the same old Shantae. I am Shantae 2.0 that has boundaries. So when his nurse team kept pushing and pushing, it becomes energetic assault now. Now you're not respecting my boundaries. I had to sit with that. I had to really remember my why of why I have to do this, because my health comes first. And also, I had to really transmute that energy that they were putting on to me, because at this point it's energy. It's like, okay, once, okay, twice, okay, but they kept going. I actually walked out because I was so frustrated with them, keep pushing my boundaries, keep trying to guilt trip me into doing something that is inconvenient, unbeneficial to my health. So I don't care how much a person is going to keep pushing you. You have to remember your why. Why? Because your health comes first. If I constantly keep self-sacrificing, guess what that tells my body? Guess what that tells my nervous system? It tells my body that we are in survival mode, that we don't have the time to just relax and just make sure we take care of ourselves. Because why? Because we have to constantly keep going for whatever reasons. And now you're in survival mode. And guess what your body's going to keep doing in survival mode? Your body keeps being put in a stressful state, which does not create an equilibrium throughout your immune system for your body to even be healthy, because that is not important right now. Right now, your body thinks you're constantly in survival. You're constantly fighting off attacks physically, because it doesn't know that's not physical. It just knows that this feeling of stress is there. Whether it's physical or not, it's stress. Stress is all going to breathe the same in your body. It really lowers your mortality when you keep putting yourself in this caregiving mode. It's okay to be a caregiver within reason. Like, okay, making sure you're good first. And now you have the space to be able to give somebody else help. But also, that comes with a condition as well. You giving them help is fine and dandy, but if they're not willing to help themselves, the energy output you are putting is non and void, because they're not willing to help themselves. So, as long as you have all the energy you need for yourself, and that energy becomes overflowing, that you can't help but to help others take care of themselves, it also will become draining if they aren't willing to do the work to help themselves. You have to win it. So now I just totally have put my boundaries up with this nursing staff, because they are still in the programming that is outdated to me, because now I'm in a new programming. I realize how I have been programmed all my life to be a caretaker. I am the oldest of six kids. So I have been trained from childhood to be the caretaker, and I am no longer putting myself in that position, because everybody has the tools necessary to take care of themselves, whether they're willing to do it or not. And I am not going to constantly keep enabling people not to do so. If you don't want to do so, that's your choice. But I am not going to, I am not going to keep continuing giving you my energy, my time, any of that, if you cannot pick up yourself to do the work. I have been able to do the work on my own despite any outside help. I am sure everybody has the ability to do so if they really want it. But if you don't really want it, you know if they don't want it because they're not doing the work. Don't constantly keep putting it becomes a financial strain when you're constantly being in this caregiver mode. Because why? All your energy is going to caregiving and you can't even really do it to work. You can't don't even have the energy to work like you want to. Hmm. It's really breaking down. The stress levels are breaking down your cardiovascular health. You end up developing autoimmune diseases. You end up developing nervous system issues. It's so many different components to what stress really does to the body. Because, for one, when you don't have your boundaries, your body doesn't feel stable, it doesn't feel protected. It's always constantly in survival mode. So you don't feel stable, you don't feel protected because you're constantly let others determine your yes and your no's. And when you're in those situations and you're constantly letting them know what you can and cannot do, and if they're constantly pushing against it, I had to transmute the energy, and I transmuted it by telling myself that this is not my baggage. This is their baggage, so let them carry it. This is not my problem because they have become so used to us as women being caretakers and not having boundaries. And a lot of the time, people that push your boundaries is because they don't have boundaries themselves. So they think it's okay to constantly keep pushing your boundaries. So I had to transmute this energy and send it back to them with love because this is not my baggage. This is every time someone does something that is old programming to you, send them back their baggage. E- Visualize, literally visualize you picking up their baggage and giving it back onto them because that baggage is too hairy of a burden to carry, especially when it comes to your own health. Your health truly matters. And I wish I would have known this way sooner because I wouldn't have been living in survival mode for as long as I was. Survival mode only comes in handy when you're actually in a physical state of survival. And if you're not in a physical state, and what I mean by that is like literally it's chaos all around you every single day. Like you're trying to figure out how am I going to survive this chaos going on? A lot of the time, the chaos that's going on is in our mind. You have to reprogram your mind first to get out of this chaos. And once you reprogram your mind, you start feeling way lighter because in reality, the baggage wasn't yours to begin with. That was baggage someone else, whether it's society, generational trauma, childhood trauma. It was their baggage that they placed onto you and expected you to carry in the first place. So send them back their baggage. It does not make any sense for us, especially as women, to constantly keep picking up everybody's else baggage as if we are superwoman. I don't want to be superwoman. I don't want to play Captain Save-A-Hole or any of that any longer. And I will not. I don't care how many people come to me and try to force me to stay in that prison that was created for us to be in. I will no longer. be in that prison. I have taste freedom and I intend on being free from that. And I advise you, I don't care if you have to put on your warrior spirit, put in your warrior spirit, get in your warrior spirit and fight mentally for all this programming to stay out of your way. Because that's how it has sometimes that's how it has to be, especially when you're getting energetically assaulted. I don't mean go out there cussing. I don't mean go out there physically fighting. What I mean is removing yourself so you can recenter and reground yourself in the knowing that you are doing what you are supposed to do. And what you are supposed to do is be a warrior when it comes about yourself. How you how you kept fighting for everybody else, take that same energy and fight for yourself because you really are the one that needs it and you are the one that's going to be there to help yourself. Get the help, get the guidance that you need to help you move through all these old which my mind has been breaking down a lot of these old programmings, and the more I go, the more I realize how many old programmings it truly is that society has placed upon us as a prison cell. It's like I have to go through layer by layer by layer, but don't give up because in the end, you're going to realize how much free you feel, how much regulated your nervous system is, how much at peace you feel because now your body feels safe. Your body feels love. Your body feels like it can now thrive because it is no longer continuing to be in this survival mode. You have now been infected with the love virus.